Someone is about to do something for you, and this decision, there's no turning back. It's an action that didn't come by chance. It's something that this person has been carrying inside for too long. Maybe you've already noticed, or maybe not. But what matters is that this moment has arrived, and it can change absolutely everything between you two. It's not a common gesture. It's not a simple like. It's a surrender, a bet, a choice made at the limit of heart and reason. And you? Are you prepared to deal with this? Because afterward, nothing will be the same as before. Do you feel it? This tension in the air, something that's about to happen. There's no point in denying it. You know that there's someone around you thinking about you more than they should. Someone who has crossed inner limits, who has broken barriers that once seemed insurmountable. This person has made a decision, and you need to understand that there's no turning back. Maybe you think it's just coincidences, messages that appear at the right time, a look that lasts a second longer, a presence that never fails when you need it most. But I tell you with all certainty, it's not chance, it's a choice, it's intentional. This person has already decided what they want to do for you, and do you know what's even more frightening? They're not afraid of the consequences. They are ready to risk everything, even if it means losing something important, even if it means leaving their own pride behind. Now, I'm going to be very direct. Are you ready to receive this? Because actions like this don't happen every day. They aren't impulsive gestures. It's the kind of decision that arises when someone has already spent sleepless nights thinking about you, when every song reminds them of you, when even the silence brings your name. And you know what else? This person is already so certain of this that nothing, absolutely nothing, will stop them from taking this action. Have you ever felt something like this? A desire that becomes so overwhelming it starts to suffocate. A yearning that takes your breath away. There's no logic that can hold it back. There's no reason that can calm it. This is what this person is experiencing now. But what they're going to do, it's not just about what they feel, it's also about what they see in you. They see you in a way that maybe no one else does. They see your qualities, yes, but they also know your flaws, your failures, your insecurities. And even so, they chose to stay, they chose to believe. Now I'm going to ask you a serious question. Do you deserve this? Because someone who's willing to risk everything for you expects something in return. I'm not talking about grand declarations or empty promises. I'm talking about truth, about reciprocity. This person doesn't want a polite thank you, doesn't want to be just another in your life. They want to be that presence that changes everything. That makes you question your certainties. That makes you rethink what you believe to be love, desire, connection. And you know what else? They're not expecting an easy yes. They're prepared to hear a no. They're ready to face rejection. But what they won't accept, what they won't tolerate, is silence, indifference, the absence of a response. Because when someone exposes themselves like this, lays their heart on the line, makes it clear they're willing to face the world for someone else, the least they expect is a reaction. So don't be mistaken. This action isn't an impulse, it's not a joke, it's real. And now you're at a crossroads. If you turn your back, that's fine. But understand that you'll be closing the door to something you may never have again. Because someone who takes such a step, who bares their heart, doesn't do it twice for the same person. Now, answer me sincerely. Are you willing to face what's coming? Because this person has already decided, and now it's your turn. What will you do with this? Don't pretend you don't know who it is. No matter how much you try to convince yourself that all of this is vague or distant, deep down, you know. The person whose name makes your phone vibrate when a notification comes in, the person who has already proven, through actions, not words, that they stand by your side even when you didn't ask. This person could not wait any longer. And now everything depends on you. But let me make it clear. This is not just any declaration of love. This is not a desperate plea, it is a choice. She chose you. And you know what? This choice was made a long time ago, maybe even before you realized the impact you had caused. This person is fighting against their own pride, against the fear of getting hurt, against everything they learned about not showing feelings. But now, it's too late. The time has come where there is no more room for doubt. She is coming, with all the intensity, with all the vulnerability that it requires. And what remains now is, are you going to open that door or leave it closed forever? Let me tell you something that few have the courage to say. Radical actions like this are rare. Someone who throws themselves like this without guarantees is betting everything on you. So don't play around with this. Don't look away. If you feel something, be clear. If you don't feel, be honest. But don't disappear. This person can no longer turn back. She is coming. And you, what are you going to do? This person has passed the point of hesitation. There are no longer any doubts. Everything she feels has been stifled for too long, and now the only way out is to act. Don't wait for subtle gestures. Don't wait for small hints or messages that can be interpreted in many ways. What is coming to you is direct. It is a risky move, and you can't pretend you didn't notice. This action carries weight, a weight that cannot be ignored. It's not about making a scene or drawing attention. It's about laying all that this person feels bare, without any protection, without a filter, without a mask. Now I ask you, are you ready to deal with what comes next? Because once this happens, you will no longer have the luxury of pretending you didn't know. You will no longer have the option to treat this person as just someone. After this attitude, things are going to change. For better or for worse, that's up to you. This is not a surprise. You always knew. Let's be honest. Deep down, you already knew this was growing. You've noticed the signs. You've seen the way this person looks at you. How their voice changes when they speak to you. How they are always available, even when no one else is. This is not news. The only news here is that they've decided they can no longer hide it. This person doesn't want to live with assumptions. They don't want to spend another night wondering what could have been if they had spoken up. They no longer want to hold back what they feel for fear of your reaction. They are going to take a risk, and they are going to put their heart in your hands. And honestly, this should make you think, because not just anyone does this. Nowadays, people run away. They run from deep feelings. They run from rejections. But not this person. They have decided you are worth the risk. You are worth the fear. You are worth the chance of loss. So let me be very clear. If you don't feel the same, say so. Now, don't toy with this. Don't nurture something you don't want to reciprocate, because this person is already so invested that they can no longer pull back. And if you choose silence, if you choose to run from this situation, what you're doing is destroying something that perhaps you haven't even fully understood yet. You might think, but I didn't ask for this. You didn't ask, it's true, but you attracted it. With who you are, with the way you speak, with the little things you do without realizing, and now here we are. You have two choices, but neither of them is easy. If you feel something, even if you're not sure what it is yet, you need to say it. This person doesn't need a perfect declaration. She's not expecting you to know exactly what you want at this moment. She just wants to know that you're not going to run away, that you're willing to discover what this could be. Now, if you don't feel anything, if to you this person is just a detail in your day, you need to be honest, but be direct, be human, because nothing is worse than indifference. This person has already dealt with her own fears. Now it's your turn to deal with yours. And whatever your answer, you need to understand one thing. This person will remember this forever. If you accept, she will remember it as the moment when everything changed. If you reject, she will remember it as the moment when, despite everything, she chose to be truthful. But what you cannot do is ignore it, because actions like this are rare. You may go years without finding someone willing to expose themselves like this. You may go your whole life surrounded by people who prefer to keep everything on the surface, who are afraid of feeling too much. And now before you is someone who chose to feel everything. And more than that, chose to feel everything for you. Are you going to make this person wait? Have you imagined what is going on in her mind right now? The doubts, the uncertainties. She has no guarantee that you will respond in the way she hopes. But even so, she's coming. She's willing to break down her own defenses for something she believes to be real. And what are you going to do? Are you going to let fear paralyze you? Are you going to pretend that none of this is happening? Or are you finally going to take a step towards what deep down you also know is growing? No one risks everything for no reason. This attitude didn't come out of nowhere. It is the result of sleepless nights, of messages erased before being sent, of moments when this person wanted to speak but held back. She tried to wait for the right moment, tried to calculate the chances. But you know what the truth is? There is no right moment. There are feelings that simply overflow. They can no longer be contained. And when that happens, there's nothing left to think about. There's only the need to act. If you've come this far, you already know. Now everything depends on you. The decision is no longer in her hands, it's in yours. And whatever your choice, I ask you one thing. Don't let this go unnoticed, because what's happening now is unique, and it will mark you forever. I need you to understand something very important. This action is not about impulse. It is not a desperate attempt. It's a conscious choice. And that choice is you. This person fought against their own fear, pride, and insecurities. Spent nights trying to convince themselves that maybe it was better to give up, that maybe it was safer not to say anything, to continue as things are. But do you know what happened? They couldn't do it. Because there are feelings that no matter how much you try to suffocate, come back even stronger. And now it's done. This person has decided they need to act. Need to put everything out there, even without any guarantee that you will reciprocate. Think about it for a moment. How many people do you know who would risk everything? Pride, security, even the fear of getting hurt, for you? Few, maybe none. But this person decided that you are worth the risk. And what you need to understand is that this doesn't happen every day. And there's one more thing. This action that is about to happen is not about waiting for the right moment, is not about thinking it over. It's about someone who has reached the limit of keeping all this inside, someone who tried to hide it, tried to disguise it, but can't anymore. Now it's all or nothing. And you? What are you going to do about it? It's not about a simple gesture. This person won't show up in front of you with rehearsed lines, won't make an exaggerated scene like in the movies. What they are about to do is more real than that, more human, more true. She will look into your eyes and somehow you will know. Maybe it's a message that appears when you least expect it. Maybe it's an encounter that happens without any particular intention, but changes the tone of the conversation. Maybe it's that long gaze, that silence that says more than any word. But what matters is that when it happens, you will feel it. And you won't be able to pretend you didn't notice, but I need to be direct with you. If you don't feel the same way, if for you this person is just another passing presence, don't make her wait. Don't prolong the silence. Don't nurture expectations that you won't meet, because this person is already carrying a huge weight. She has already fought against the fear of rejection. She has already faced internal doubts, and what she doesn't deserve in any way is to be treated with indifference. If you need to say no, say it, but say it clearly, with respect, with truth. Because as painful as it may be, rejection is more dignified than the emptiness of a response that never arrives. Now, if you feel something, if somehow this person has touched you, if you have found yourself thinking about her more than you should, if there is something there, even if you can't name it yet, then don't waste time. Because what is about to happen is rare. It is genuine. It is that spark that everyone looks for, but few find. Do you think this happens all the time? Someone stripping away all their pride, all their masks, and putting themselves in such a vulnerable position? No, this is rare. This is real. And if you let it pass, if you turn your back now, you may spend the rest of your life wondering what if. You know who this person is. You don't need to pretend you don't. You don't need to act as if you are lost or confused. You know. You may have tried to ignore it. You may have convinced yourself it was just your imagination. But the signs were all there, in the details, in the way this person was always around without asking for anything in return, in the small gestures that seemed casual but held a much greater meaning. Now, all this is about to become explicit. This person is coming to you. And it's no longer a question of if, it's a question of when. And when that moment comes, you will have only two choices: accept or let go. But there is no middle ground. There is no let's see how things happen. Because when someone reaches the point of placing their heart in another person's hands, All they need is clarity, and no matter how much you try to avoid it, no matter how much you try to delay it, that moment is already here. Now tell me, what are you going to do? Now it's your turn. Comment. Would you risk everything for someone? Leave your like and subscribe.